Biden administration are saying it's time to pay up. This headline, Biden's Education Secretary confirms the process of resuming student loan payments will start no later than June the 30th. The emergency period is over. So this Education Secretary, we know what he said. He testified before the Senate. Skip, let's put some of this up. I'm going fast. On Thursday, Education Secretary Miguel Cardona testified before the Senate Appropriations Committee on his budget request and plans for the upcoming fiscal year, with Biden's plan to cancel up to $20,000 in student debt in limbo. The shit is in limbo and awaiting a final decision from the Supreme Court because they not playing defense. They knew this was coming. They know the configuration of the court, man. They know the court. Some lawmakers asked Cardona what the year ahead will look like for borrowers. And he knows it's gonna be hard for borrowers. I mean, it makes you, in light of the conservative-backed lawsuits that paused the broad debt relief, Biden extended the student loan payment pause through 60 days after June 30th, or 60 days after the Supreme Court issues its final decision. That was the 8th extension of the pause, and Cardona confirmed that it would be the last. You know what? It's a shame. I mean, it really is a shame that in this hegemonic nation, first of all, colleges and universities were not always this expensive. You talk to some elders who went, they will tell you some of them went for free or went for nearly no money, very little money to get an education. And for this man with a straight face to say that this may be the last, they knew the configuration of the court. This president doesn't believe in expanding the court because that was an option for them to do in the 117th Congress. They didn't even do that. They not even fighting. They not even pretending to fight for the American people. And it's a shame because I believe that America deserves better. You know what? Forget what else Cardona had to say. This is gonna wreak havoc, America, on millions of people in this country. And so I wanna quickly get to the heart of the issue of this nonsense by this administration and this Senate for declaring the COVID emergency over. The reality is the virus is still wreaking havoc on millions. We talked about that. And there are still those who are grieving loved ones who died because of it. This headline right here, families of those lost to COVID wrestle with mixed emotions as emergency ends. More than 1.1 million Americans have died of COVID. An official end to the health emergency has landed in complicated ways for those affected most acutely. Mayor.
They act as if education is the great equalizer. In 1963, that ain't too far long ago, a year of college, the average cost was about $4,000. $4,000. Find a college right now where you can go to school for that tuition. You will be hard pressed. And I think this idea that people need to understand that. So all of these people that are, add 18 or 20 years to 1963 or subtract it, those people that were in college, now all these people that are living in middle class or elected officials, all of them that benefited from this $4,000 tuition is comfortable charging people almost 4 or 5 times that per year. It is more expensive to be American now than it ever has been. And then we have a administration that's supposed to be on the side of the worker that is looking like they only care about those donors that you're talking about, those owner donors. The people interests are not being supported by this administration. I can care less. It is impossible to make the case to voters that this administration has been supporting workers when you say silly stuff like it's over. The emergency isn't over. Smallpox emergency is over. The last case was 1977. That's eradicated. That is not the case with this emergency. It is not. People are still suffering, not just from the disease itself, but from the effects of it. Loss of family members. This is absolutely beyond ridiculous for this party and this administration to be proposing this at this moment.
It really is. And I mean, they definitely, and talk about the Republicans, let's talk about them because they don't give a damn either. But to see a Democratic administration do this, it is really, really disheartening.